Melenda's back, Death of Freedom, and it is number one hit. You have another number one hit on Amazon. So I was just telling before the show that I've been listening to the book, and it is something that should be in every educational system, but we know that's compromised and it's not going to happen. So they got to get it from you. I've seen pieces of this for decades, but you have outlined it superbly. I've never seen it put together this well. Very, very good job.
Thank you. Yeah, I had to do it for myself because I always ask the question to the universe. I'm like, I want to know the truth. I just want to know the truth. Show me the truth. And then that's when this journey started. And it's deep. And it actually is another book is coming because it's the hidden symbols of government. And like you said in the last interview, the symbols are going to be their downfall. That is so huge that I couldn't put it in this book. So this is like the foundation. How did we get to this point where we don't have freedom of speech, where our freedoms are just out the window? And so I'm grateful for you, and also for G. Edward Griffin, who wrote the foreword. Really grateful.
Very nice forward, yeah, very good, very well done. So you've been a revealer. You did the Maui land grab, and you had some incredible pictures in that, and you've talked about how that was absolutely a direct-to-entry weapon. I've been talking about that for years, but again, you basically put it together so it's indisputable. And you have some very bad people there in positions of power, political power there in Hawaii that are allowing this to go forward. We talked about the sheriff that was there, that was the sheriff that was in California in a very suspect time frame. Or no, he was in Nevada. He was at the Vegas shooting.
Yeah.
So, and then they just before they did the direct-to-injury weapon in Maui, he came there, and I guess the woman that was in charge of, records and everything, they've been there for like decades. She has a crazy accident where she runs into a tree and dies.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very suspect stuff.
Yeah. And the ambulance wasn't called right away. It was, and she was an auntie. People just loved her. But she was actually the secretary to, also the secretary to the Maui police chief. So she was seeing a lot of things. And that's definitely a concern of his, I'm sure. Also what happened, which is people don't know, is that the bodies that were recovered by recruits. And they were people who had zero experience recovering these bodies. And they were put in this one baggie. And some people don't know if they have the right person. They don't know if the person is fully intact. I mean, there was so many things that should have been investigated around that crime. And that absolutely was an attack on the people. And now it's over 2 years later, and they still are not letting any businesses rebuild, zero businesses, zero homes on the water. And those people should sue, because they should have a right to do what they want with their property. They're saying, oh no, the climate change. That's why I had to put the climate change into this book too, to let people know why. Why are they saying climate danger, climate change, and carbon is bad? So you just got to take Science 101 to realize carbon is actually helps the earth thrive and not doesn't kill it. So.
Yeah, I mean, in greenhouses, they actually pump in carbon, and the greenhouses thrive even more. So that's like you said, if you just have to do a little research and see the Green New Deal or whatever they got going on is a complete and utter manipulation, so that they get money, and they always have these scams. So yeah, I mean, going back to that, bringing us forward, how do they get away with this? And you basically outline how they get away with this, because they've taken away our rights as sovereign citizens, and put us in, pass bills that basically, make us into just corporate entities, and it's a business. We're all part of this huge corporate structure in the United States now. It's no longer we the people, it's they, the corporation.
Yeah, 100%. That's how it went down. The founding fathers actually, they had foresight to see. They wanted government and business separate, and they knew that if it was together, that there would just be, it would be chaos, freedom would be gone, and that's what happened. So it was 1871, the District of Columbia was created, and what they did was they took Washington and Georgetown, and they put them together under 10 square miles. And then what happened was they actually, that's where Congress was supposed to sit. The federal government was never supposed to have the amount of power that they have over the sovereign states. States were sovereign, you guys. They were absolutely free and to do what they wanted to do. And the people are the ones that governed it. So what happened was after 1871, the District of Columbia started creating all of these agencies, the CDC, the FBI, the CIA, all of these agencies, and they started putting their going into the states and giving the states federal money, and that's what basically took our freedom. And just like you said, it is business based. So let me show you guys if I could do a screen share. How do I do a screen share? Okay. Oh, share screen. Okay. And let me get the right one here. Oh yeah. Okay. This is it. Share screen. And I'm going to share a window here. And link StreamYard. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Because I want to show you guys the definitions of the United States and how to see that this is not what we think it is. StreamYard share. And here. Okay. Can you see that?
You got it. Good job.
All right. So it's this one. So this is basically, what is this? This is Council of the District of Columbia. And in this section, place of business, it means where a debtor conducts its affairs. But let me show you where this one is. This one's really interesting. The United States is located in the District of Columbia. So everybody, like I was telling people about this, and they said, "Oh no, the United States, it's short for the United States of America," but it's actually not. It's actually, if you have the United States is located in the District of Columbia, that is telling you where the business is. And then you have this one, and this is definitions in a legal format from the Legal Information Institute. And if you click on any United States, it goes, United States means a federal corporation.
Wow.
So that's the very, very first definition. And so, also in the book, I want to show you guys, is this one? Yes, this is the one. So this one's really interesting because they have the United States and they have the United States of America. So if the United States meant United States of America, why is it two different things here? So this is a legal definition under what it means to do a sworn declaration. So if you do a sworn declaration, you're going to be either you're doing a sworn declaration in the United States or in the United States of America, and it's two different things. So if executed without the United States, I declare or certify under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America that the foregoing is true. Now it says, if executed within the United States, its territories, possessions, Commonwealth, I declare that under penalty of perjury and the foregoing is true. That's two different things. Wow. So that's what people don't understand is that the leaves to, okay, there we go. That the United States and the United States of America are absolutely two different distinctions, two different things. And these people are brilliant. This game that they put us under, because the Constitution is still here. We still have it, but it's overlaid with the United States corporation. That's why all the madness is happening. But when people go into the court systems and they invoke the Constitution, that turns the court into a constitutional court. And the judges know this, the prosecuting attorneys know this, but they get paid when you don't know it. This is why the courts are so confusing, and you have to have an attorney, which you do not. You do not have to have an attorney. So you can actually turn this into a constitutional court, but you have to be brave enough, and you have to know the language. The language is really, really key. Just an example, Captain Matt, who's in the book Great Maui Land Grab, he went, and he's also in the Death of Freedom because of this story. He was driving without plates because the Constitution says, this is really, check this one out. The Constitution says we have a right to travel. Why do you have to get a driver's license? Because it puts you into the corporate system as a driver. And so if you're a driver, you have to pay. You have to pay to drive. So you have to register your car and so you don't own it. If you stop registering, you're going to get it. So what he did was he actually was driving with no state license plate. He got pulled over. He went to court. They know him. He goes into court often. So they waited till everybody was gone. And then the judge started to tell him what his rights are. And he said, no, he goes, I am a living man under the Constitution. I have unalienable rights under God. I have not revoked any of my rights. And he looks up and the judge left the room, because what happened was when he did that, he took himself out of the jurisdiction of the corporation. So the judge didn't have any authority over him. So he was about to say the judge has vacated their bench, and bench that's a little off topic, but bench is actually Latin for bank, because that's what the court systems are. The judge is just a banker, and it's extortion of the American people. So he could have said, the judge has vacated their bench. This case is dismissed, but the bailiff comes over, turns off his microphone. And then, so the judge comes back into the room. I actually did a video on this. And the judge comes back into the room and starts to plead for Captain Matt. He starts to say, you are going to plead not guilty. And Matt is like arguing. I heard the audio. Matt's they're arguing back and forth. The judge keeps talking. Matt's talking over him. And so anyway, long story short, they do another court case, and the police officer doesn't show up, so that it does get dismissed. But anyway, they don't want us to know this information. But it's there. It's available to everybody. And super huge cases have been won using the Constitution, cases that would never were going to win. Like this guy who was on Oahu. He was walking on an army base, just walking, and these MPs, they arrested him, and they said that he was smoking pot and he was doing all this stuff, which he said wasn't true. He's about to go to court. He's going to be going to jail. And so he's very afraid. He contacts Jack and Margie Flynn. This is another these are people you should definitely interview. They're in the back of the book under How to Save America, because it can be saved, you guys, but we just have to step up and do our action. So anyway, he contacts them, and they are founders of Citizens of the AmericanConstitution.net. That's their website, Citizens of the AmericanConstitution.net. And they told him what to do. And what he did was he wrote an affidavit. This is our power, you guys. He wrote an affidavit of truth. He had it notarized that shared the whole story of his story, that he was walking. He was not on the because he's a civilian. He's not in the jurisdiction of the army, and he wasn't, doing anything wrong. So anyway, he sends this affidavit to the army general, or I don't know the language of what he is, but the main head guy in Honolulu on that army base. He sends it to him. He sends it to the court, and it gets dismissed. The general guy from Honolulu calls the court and says, dismiss this case. They did not want to run it.
Awesome.
So that's the power we have.
Yeah, that's true. When you're, I've been in a lot of court cases. When I was in here in Lake Tahoe, I was a security manager, and we'd have people that would, do crazy stuff, and I'd have to go to trial and all that kind of stuff. There are times where the court system works, but when it's basically coming after us in certain ways like this, it's obviously against us. Now, you talk about, and I've never caught this before, the 15th Amendment to the United States basically made us citizens instead of sovereign beings.
Yes.
So that was huge. You have that? Oh, good.
Yeah, let me pull it up. It's actually the 14th Amendment. And yes, you are absolutely right. This is what tricked everybody. So I'll do a screen share. So this was after the Civil War. Yep. After the Civil War. So all persons born and naturalized in, where is it? The United States, not United States of America, are subject to the jurisdiction thereof, citizens of the United States. It labeled us and the state we're in. So this is
great. This is where a lot of people have this, they don't understand. I didn't quite understand it until you made it clear in this book. So they made us citizens they used the Constitution amendment in our Constitution, we the people's Constitution. And they, like you said, they're very clever, and they inserted this and they made us citizens. So we get the birth certificate and all this stuff. It makes us a citizen of these states, and they have, we're legally represented by our states now, that we're citizens of that state, and they can control us. They're corporate entities within the state, all kind of crazy stuff. Those amendments, the 14th and 15th, where they're talking about we're citizens, basically locks us in, and then we're no longer sovereign. We no longer, have inalienable rights, and all that stuff was in the Constitution. That's beautiful. Well done.
Yeah, and this is why when you have documents, they say, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" They ask you. So when you put yes, you are contracted in. It's all contract based. Everything is contracts, policies, all of it. And so what happened after the Civil War, and also the Southern states did not want to run this. They did not want these, but they were forced to do it under the Reconstruction Act after the Civil War. They were forced to do it. And then also, I'm going to do one more screen share on this one, because this other one.
Somebody in the chat is saying it's similar to Australia. So, they've done the same thing. This deep state corporate entity, maritime law people have come in and inserted themselves in a lot of countries.
Absolutely. And then what else they did, Jaco? Can you see this one now? I want to show you. This is still the 14th Amendment. I got to show you this one. Is it doing a screen share? I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. This is the Section 4. Okay. Nobody reads these, right? The validity of the public debt. Public debt. The bankers are protected by this amendment. The United States has to pay this. The validity of the public debt of the United States, there it is again, not America, authorized by law, including debts incurred, bounties, blah, 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 shall not be questioned. This is why Congress has to bail out the banks every single time, because in our own Constitution, they are their loans are protected by our Constitution. We have to pay it back. So people, when they finally understand and see it, you can't unsee it now. Because now every time you see the United States, you understand it's the corporation. This corporation was only supposed to be 10 square miles. And let me see if I can show you that. This is
I'm glad you brought up that article within the amendment, because it was talked about in the book, and I'm listening to it. So seeing it is putting it on a different level again. So well done, section. Yep.
Yeah, I want to do Article 1, Section 8, and it's Clause 17. This one is, So to exercise exclusive legislative in cases wherever whatsoever over such district, okay, not exceeding 10 square miles, not exceeding 10 square miles. This means Congress only had power over that 10 square miles, Washington and Georgetown. And it became the seat of government of the United States, not of the United States of America, of the United States. And to exercise its authority purchased by Congress. Okay, so then they can also exercise their authority over lands that they purchase. But here's what happened. This is why we have a zip code, you guys, because the zip code puts you into the U.S. corporation. It puts you into that area. And so when you write letters and stuff, if you put those in brackets and you put in care of with your address, it actually helps take you out of that jurisdiction. But Congress was only supposed to run over that 10 square miles, not in the states. And it's in the Constitution.
This so makes sense. When I was at January 6th, that crazy thing, I was there and I saw the manipulation, all the crazy stuff. And of course, all of us have seen it. I came back to DC to go to a trial of a person I was supporting. And now this all makes sense because they have complete jurisdiction and control. And I kind of knew that, I'm not going to go in there and try and be a constitutional, from the state of wherever, because I'm in their jurisdiction now and they have complete and utter control.
Yeah, that's right. And so so check this out. This is so crazy. Nothing in the first quote in my book is by Roosevelt. And he said, nothing happens in politics by accident. If it happens in politics, it was meant to happen. It was designed that way. So when you look at there's a whole chapter about the courtroom. Okay. The courtroom is designed by like a boat. And none of this is they're never going to tell you the definition. But the bar, why do attorneys have to pass the bar?
British accredited registry. Why? British.
Yeah, it's because of that. So when you walk in to the courtroom, in fact, let me show you guys this, because when you walk into the courtroom,
this is great, Michelle. Good job.
This is going to be just straight from the book because I use Atticus, so I'll show you guys this. Oh wait, I know where I can pull up a bigger picture of it for you guys. But let me just say, the reason why it's called the bar is because you have to pass through the bar in order to practice law. So if you have a mechanic or a doctor, do you want them to practice? They're practicing on your car, they're going to practice on your body, but yet they're practicing law. But when they pass the bar, it puts them on the dock, which is in the courtroom. Okay. All right. Let me.
Wow. The docket. Here. That's right.
Yep. And the docket. That's correct. It's like you
outlined it really well in the book too, as far as like, the black robe is supposed to be like a spiritual type thing. And so they have spiritual power, and they're up high and all the crazy stuff. Wow. You outlined a lot of good stuff. So, like I look forward to when you come out with a book where you take all of the symbolism and you start to outline it like this. This is going to be great.
Oh my gosh, that one is crazy. So let's see if I can find. Okay, there it is. All right. I'm going to just share. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, that's good.
Okay, good. All right. So see, the bar is like nothing happens by it. This is not just it's just there because it's just titled bar. Could be gate. Why isn't it gate? Why do they even have it? Why do they even have something that completely separates the chairs to the defense and the prosecuting? Why is that even there? It's not even high. It's not. So you have to think about that. What's going on here? This is the same bar looking thing as a boat. When you get on a boat, look at it, looks the same. And then this is the dock.
Not many of them. So.
Yep. And then the gavel, the seal puts that in the jurisdiction of the corporation. because it's a seal. Every state has it. When you go into the court, they have that seal, and it's all in capital letters. And then the gold fringe. Now, so many people are like, oh, the gold fringe doesn't mean it's a military court. Actually, it does. When you look it up in the Army flag definitions, I looked it up in the Army. They're not hiding anything. It's just everywhere. So the Army flag, this book that I found literally has gold fringe means military court. Now it's under the jurisdiction of the corporation. So it's just in our faces. And the galley, what a word is galley? It's a ship. That's the word for that. Or gallery. This is where the people are. Why do they call them that? So it's just so many questions about the fact that it's not what it looks like. Why do you have to have an attorney? No, you do not. They want you to, because then you're in their jurisdiction. And they're basically going to shaft you. My cousin, he had to go to, he was in court, and I just remember listening to his attorney that he got, and I'm like, oh my God, I could have done a better job, and I don't even know the law that well, but I'm like, he set him up to lose the public attorney. So yeah.
Incredible.
Yes, and then there's also what you mentioned earlier, the birth certificate. Oh. You guys, check this out. Let me show you Windows. Let me show you my birth certificate. And it literally has on it, literally says Midwest banknote on my birth certificate. So let me find it. Just had it a second ago. There it is. Where it is. Okay, it's right there.
At one time I had this cheat code and I shared it with everybody, and everybody was like looking at it. Checking it out. But there's a cheat code where you can go in and find out who has bonds on you. And every one of us, they basically have bonds on us. And I saw that a lot of my bonds were here in the United States and in England and some in China. But I saw that a lot of women had a lot of their bonds were in China. Strange.
Yeah. It's so my new book, which I'm like, oh my gosh, this new book. But anyway, because this one just got finished and it's doing really well, and it just shares the whole foundation. This other one is called the Hidden Cult of Governments, How the Devil Runs Nations and How to Stop Him. Because this has been going on, you guys, for thousands of years. People don't understand that we have been hoodwinked for a very, very long time, but I feel it's coming to an end. I feel there is something that is awakening all of us. And that's also why they're rushing things and why there's so much censorship, because the first thing communism does is censor people that talk against the government. That's the first thing communism does. And that's what's going on. So, but when we have power, we have power, not just by knowing this stuff, but our frequency. So there's a whole massive chapter about mind control and non-disclosed experiments. And the mind control is huge with television and your smartphone. This is why, I never used to watch the short videos on YouTube. It just never appealed to me. And then one night I'm like, oh, let me check this out. Never watch it. All of a sudden I'm watching till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going, why can't I turn this off? And it was the most weirdest feeling where I could not turn it off and shut it off. And finally I did. And I'm like, okay, that was very weird, but that is mind control. And I do explain in the book how it happens. It's a frequency. But before I go into another topic, let me share with you guys the birth certificate. This is on mine. Can you see that Midwest banknote?
Yeah.
This is around the border. Wow. Your birth certificate is printed on security paper. And what is that seal? Great Seal of the State of California, all capitals, because that is that's another thing that the book says. There's two states. One is a corporate state, the Corporation of California, owns my birth certificate. And then the other one is the state of California, not all capital letters, that's under the Constitution. But this is a banknote, Midwest Banknote Company that literally prints these birth certificates, and all on the border is just like the dollar bill. It's a note. It's a note. And just like you were saying, Jaco, they create bonds from these. They make money from these. So before, people would have their babies and they would put their name in the Bible, and they would put the deaths in their Bible, their family Bible. That's how they recorded everything. And then what happened was the kings back in the days is they would pledge the work of their people.
That's right.
And that's how they would get more money. And that's exactly what this United States corporation has done as well with all of these birth certificates.
That's why they have bonds on us. And I saw my bonds. My bonds were like hundreds of millions of dollars because of all the stuff that I've done, I guess. But it was wacky. And then, like I said, most of them were in England, some of them were here in the United States, and a few in China. China, I guess, it used to be British controlled. It went to, or at least the Hong Kong was British controlled. So I don't know. It's crazy stuff.
There's three main powers, and the Vatican is the first one for religion. And then it goes the Church of the City of London, which is the money. That's where, and also because the Rothschilds, they were the first bankers that ever gave money to the king. They were their first bankers for the king back in, I think it was 1500s. They were the first bankers. So that they're also the treasury of the Vatican. The Rothschild are the treasury for the Vatican. And then Washington is the United States is the military arm. So those are the three, and they do want to do a one world order. And it's but we have power, you guys. We have power. Again, we have power through knowledge.
Did you mention the gold fringe on the flag in the court? The military, military control.
Yeah, yes, I looked it up in the Army, in the Army's definition of flags. Every single flag is, in fact, the PDF, the link, if you get the Kindle version of the book, you can actually click on the link and it'll take you to the PDF that has all of the definitions of all the flags.
Upside down, all kind of crazy stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So people who say, no, that's not true, it's actually the definitions in the whole Army book. So that's another thing too. It's hard for people to believe this because it's so much easier just to pretend everything is normal. This is not normal for us. For, being a human being on this planet, I'm in nature a lot here on the Big Island, and the birds, they don't have to pay for their food, and do things, that they don't want to do. We're slaves. We're absolutely slaves right now. And we were never meant to be. This was not the way it was supposed to go down.
Yeah. I mean, I remember as a kid, there was no water. You didn't buy water. That's a long time ago, obviously, but water was everywhere. There was no problem. You could ask for water and you get the water everywhere you went. But now it's all, they teach us that the water is polluted, even the stuff that's in our faucets and so forth, with a certain extent. Yeah. Fluoride and all that stuff, screwing up our pineal glands, but calcifying them. But there is definitely, they're getting to the point where they control everything. When you buy your land, if you don't have mineral rights and air rights, then all you have is just where your house is sitting. So someone could come in and actually drill under your house, and that's what a lot of the tech in Texas and Oklahoma and all these different places where they drill. They find where people don't have mineral rights underneath their land, and they come in and suck the oil out of there. So it's crazy.
Yeah, well, what just happened in Hawaii last year was the governor put through a biosecurity office into the ag department where they can actually confiscate your land, confiscate your livestock, your food right now without any due process. because there's a biosecurity fly or mold or whatever it is that they say. They don't have to prove it. And the owner has 60 days to sue the government to get their property back. This is actually a law right now in the state of Hawaii. So the other thing that we can do, which is in the back of the book, is citizen memorandums. So this is what we're going to be doing because of this law. We have a citizen memorandums where we're going to send citizen memorandums to the legislative body that literally say we want to amend this law and pull out Section 3 that literally allows the government to come and take property. And we need numbers. So that's our power, is numbers. So I also created standtogetherhawaii.com, and I'm going to be taking people through this so that we can do it together. And I give you templates that you can model for your own area. The 3 citizen memorandums that are in the book, they're in the addendums. It has not only the whole memorandum, but it also has a link where you can go to that link and just print it out yourself. And this is for chemtrails, the climate change narrative, and another pandemic. We want to we want our government leaders to investigate this. Nobody has been called out for what happened with COVID, and it's just not okay. It's not okay. So those are the 3 citizen memorandums that you can use for your own legislative body, and all you have to do is print it out, or actually just email it. Just email it to your legislative body. You can also go a step further by printing it out, getting it notarized, taking it to your county clerk's office and say, I want to put this on the public record. And once you put it on public record, you can use it in your testimony to the county council members. It's there, and it's showing that, 1, chemtrails are not normal. There's something that we are being attacked with, some type of chemicals that are coming down. 2, the climate change narrative. I have so much information on the fact that is not that it's political. It's not by nature. And also, then there is the COVID. So those are the first 2 actions that we can take. Is the affidavit that I talked about with the guy on Oahu. That's really powerful, especially if you're going to court. You can use that. An affidavit that is not rebutted stands as truth in law. And so you can send this in to your legislative body, as well as the citizen memorandums. Those are the top 2 things that we can do. And then the third thing we can do as living men and women under the Constitution, the third thing we can do is get our own bills passed. Because let me just tell you guys, this is really important to understand. If a law gets passed that it goes against the Constitution, it's null and void, but only if the people stand up and fight for that. So that's why, if they don't know that, and they don't know how to invoke the Constitution in the court system, then that law, which isn't a law, it's a statute. Those are 2 different things. Then it stands. So our power is understanding this, like really getting it, that these things that are totally against the Constitution, they're not for us. We can fight against them.
Yeah, definitely. And if you haven't seen it in Bulgaria, they basically protested against the government because the government was going to tax them more, and they were going to put them in the European Union. So over 3 million people in Bulgaria came out in the streets, and the presidency, they all resigned. So we've seen this. We've seen the same thing in Chile. People hit the streets. So, sometimes it takes that. Now, as we saw, like I talked about in January 6th, 2021, boy, they really came after us. They knew we were coming, and they screwed us really bad. After that, no one would protest because they knew that if you did, you'd probably end up in prison from this corrupt administration we had to deal with for 4 years. Yeah. But now that we've gotten that administration out, we seem to have a very progressive, for the people type of administration under President Trump now. do you think more things like this are going to happen? Do you think we're going to push back on the Federal Reserve? Because you talk about the Federal Reserve, how that came in. They snuck it in.
They sure did.
Yep.
Yeah, that was going on for a long time. It was actually tried to get passed prior. The Federal Reserve came into practice or came into play in 1913. They tried to pass it earlier, but it didn't fly. And it passed right on December 23rd, right before Christmas. Nobody was in session, and President Woodrow Wilson signed it right away. And basically what it is, you guys, the Federal Reserve is not part of the government. It is owned by these corporate bankers who own, again, this goes back to the City of London and the bankers, the foreign bankers. They're the ones that own it. We'll never know the top 13 families that really run things. I say Rothschilds, but it actually goes above him. Anybody we actually know the name of, it's not the people that are really, really, really at the top. We'll never know the names of the 13 families that really run the world. But that is not part of the government.
How do we get at them? How do we get them out of our countries and out of our judicial systems and out of our economic systems, educational systems?
Yeah, it's knowing your rights. It's knowing your rights. It's fighting back. It's understanding that the federal government is not part of the United States of America. We were never supposed to be taxed by our income. It was supposed to be taxed by the census. How many people are in that area or in that town? And then you have a certain number that everybody pays for. But never supposed to be taxed on the income, never supposed to be taxed on property, never supposed to be taxed on your private automobile, and all of it. The IRS is the collection agency for the Federal Reserve. That's what they are, and they're also
based in Puerto Rico, which is not part of the United States of America. So.
It's a territory. It's a territory of the United States Corporation. This is why they keep saying. Exactly. The United States.
Let them become a state.
Yeah.
They've been trying for years and years. I've had so many people on my show about that, Puerto Ricans and doctors and all kind of crazy stuff that have run for office, and they shut them down, take away their rights. They threaten them with prison, all kind of crazy stuff. It's really, really crazy.
That's why we need numbers. Can you imagine if 3 million people, stood up for that and said, we're going to have this? I mean, it's a scary thing to do. But it's also what we say here in Hawaii. It's our kuleana. It's what is ours to do. It's our responsibility, because nobody's going to give it to us. You guys.
I love it.
No one's going to give it to us. So they're going to do the opposite.
Once they take it, the only way you get it back is to take it back.
That's correct. That is absolutely correct. Yeah. I really just commend everybody who stood up against the narrative with the COVID, because that's what you said it on the last video. They were really close to having that be our new normal. And so many people were like, no, I'm not having it. So that's what it takes. It takes not complying and understanding what it is, what the system really is. The system is designed to enslave you. There was a Mark Posia, my friend Donna, she actually turned me on to him. He actually talks a lot about the Satanists, the whole Satan system that runs the world. And he was saying that people need to not comply. It's like, this is a satanic government that are leaders system that has been running for a very long time. This is ancient, you guys. This goes back to Cain and Abel. Canaanites, the Canaanite line, the Babylonian line, then the Khazarian Mafia, all of it. Khazarian Empire, the Jesuits are part of that. The Jesuits, they were created because it was in the 1500s, Martin Luther, who was a priest, who saw that people could go to God without having an interim, like a third party that helps them. He's like, no, you can go straight to God. And he's the one that started creating the Protestants and the Protestant Reformation. And the Catholic Church created the Jesuit order to try to stop them.
Very good. Wow.
Yeah, and their oath back there. Oh my gosh. their oath is horrendous. They're in their own oath, the Jesuit order oath. In it, it literally says they can do whatever they want to stop the Protestant Reformation. I mean, murder, beheading, whatever. It's actually in their oath that they took.
It's crazy. It's getting better, I think, but it's because people are really becoming more knowledgeable. And I think you said that in the book where knowledge without knowledge will be their downfall. It's a biblical quote. That's so true. And so you and I are trying to share as much as possible. I'm going to have a guest on soon, I hope, that is a doctor, and she basically was at a meeting in Atlanta before COVID came out, and they were kind of outlining this, and they'd taken everybody's phones, and they were starting to talk about this, and she got real uncomfortable, and so she was privy to it. And so she's like, "Hey, I'm a doctor. I'm a call. I didn't know you were going to take my phone. I got to get my phone." So she got her phone and got the hell out of there. And then she gets a plane crash, which almost kills her. And then she continues her practice, and they start to infiltrate her practice. She had to shut her practice down because people came in that were part of the deep state. She was hiring people. "Oh, you're so qualified." And they were actually, destabilizing her business, and she had to shut it down. So she's going to come on my show and talk about, how, they had the plans for all this. And there were hundreds of doctors in this meeting that were all on board with it. Yeah. Imagine if we knew all those doctors' names, where things would be right now.
Yes. And they get them by money. It's like, that's why the medical system is the way that it is. So there were, in the book, you guys, vaccine warnings there were 4 naturopathic doctors that said vaccines are causing cancer. And I know you can't put that on YouTube. But they were.
Well, I mean, that's what they believe. There's other doctors say differently. And so we can't claim or make any bold statements, but yeah, we can talk about it. So, and they let us do that now. So that's good.
Oh, really? Wow. I got it. I'm still in YouTube jail again. I've been in for over a year now. But anyway, so what happened was that was 1900s. They started talking about that. And then what they did was they started saying that the naturopathic doctors were all quacks. And that's where the propaganda of quackery in the naturopathic field started, was because of that. Because it started when the vaccine started coming out and these doctors started speaking out. So when you're looking at a doctor and the first thing they do is prescribe medication, let me just tell you guys, I've been a fitness and wellness expert for 1996, over 30 years. And my first book, it won 4 awards, and it was called End Dieting Hell: How to Find Peace in Your Body and Release the Weight. And what I understand about the body is, if I was a doctor, the first thing I would do is do a vitamin and mineral test and see, okay, does this person have the right vitamins and minerals? Let's see where they're at. And then I would do a complete detox, cleansing the liver, cleansing the colon, and then repairing the gut lining, do a repair of the gut lining, because all the GMOs, they make small micro tears, which creates leaky gut, autoimmune disease, and all of that. So those are the things I would do. Oh, thank you. Yes, that's my website, Blossom Inner Wellness. And if you scroll down, then End Dieting Hell is on the left. It won 4 awards. It was a bestseller on Kindle, on Amazon. Great Maui Land Grab is the book about Maui. That you're not going to find those pictures anywhere else online.
My God. And once you see those pictures, guys, you're like, people that are like just cooked on one side of their body and the other side is just perfect. And they're like in mid stride running.
Yeah.
Wow. And frogs that were leaping in the air, and there were a lot of people that they found in the water. They covered that up, but there were people, a lot of people, I would be like, I'm just going to get in the water. I'll be safe from the fire. But there were people that were cooked in the water as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a friend of mine who works for national security. She said that her friend um, was a first responder, and they were pulling bodies out of the water that were petrified. They were in the swimming position, frozen in a swimming position. Uh, that's impossible. Like, what the
Yeah.
heck is that? And then a friend of mine from Molokai said that they were finding bodies on Lanai. So Maui, if anything is going to go out to the ocean, it's going to hit Lanai first. The island of Lanai is right in front of Lahaina, of Maui, and they were finding bodies. They were pulling bodies on Lanai. So the death
They
count.
covered up how many people died in that, and
We
the
think,
children that went missing. All you uncovered all that. Still is suppressed, and the FBI comes in and says, "Yeah, there's this many," and then it was the end of story.
it was in the story, and it went down. It's like, I even asked Captain Matt, I said, have you ever seen a tragedy where the death count goes down? He goes, never. He goes, never. In over 30 years of being a firefighter, never seen a death count go down. It went 105, 97, and then it ended at 102. I'm sorry, 115, 97, ended at 102. The children, there were 3,000 children that were enrolled in the Lahaina Luna School District. 2,000 didn't re-enroll. And I've actually contacted the Hawaii Education Department, and they haven't responded back to me, to my request of asking.
You think they clear that up right away? Oh yeah, we have them there. We this, but never. And there's been so many people that have talked about, and I've had people on my show that are experts. Leo Zagami, and he's talked about how they moved them in buses, and from there they had them collected somewhere, and then they disappeared. And they had planes that were flying them out, and all kind of crazy stuff. I was like, wow.
Yeah. And when you look at it, and you look at the fact that some people have gotten permits, but I mean, it took over a year for the first house to be rebuilt, and for people to finally start to get permits. But they want that property, they want that land. Lahaina was the capital of all the Hawaiian Islands back when King Kamehameha. It was a very, very sacred and very special place, and tons of water. There was tons of water. It was lush. And I mean,
it was so beautiful. The turtle that's part of, we talked about that, and it's just historically, like you said, and then they came in and they basically stole Hawaii. The U.S. government pretty much came in and just stole it, just took it. And what are you going to do? You're going to fight the Marines? Yeah, we own this now. You're out. Like,
yeah,
wow.
The queen was she signed abdicated her throne at gunpoint.
Yes.
She had a gun to her head, literally saying, "You are going to do this." And that's also, I think, why many Hawaiians, some do speak out and speak up and take action, but some don't. And I think they're just tired of it, and they know that it's so corrupt, and they've really had the short straw of things.
It could be as simple as standing up too. I mean, there would be many of us that would help support them if Hawaiians really stood up, or if we get the education. Now, you've done a really good job of educating about this, but many people don't even have a clue. Absolutely no clue. They thought that, Hawaii joined, they were, whatever number state, and they love America. They want to be part of America. No, at gunpoint, they were made to be part of America. Yeah.
And it was never fully annexed. It was never fully annexed as a state. That's another thing too.
Because the military owns it.
That's correct.
The military is so all over those islands. It's insane. And there's underground, submarine, and all kinds of stuff. I've had so many guests on. I've talked about this. It's crazy. The high-tech stuff that's there. Yeah. And underground is absolutely true. We don't understand this world, for one. We don't understand our human bodies. And that's the other thing I want to share too, is that they understand, the powers that be know that if you're afraid, if you're confused, if you're angry, then your heart and your mind are not in coherent alignment, and you will not be able to be free. You will be a slave. You will do whatever it is to get you out of fear, and they win. That's what they do. But when we come together and we really understand, and that's the back of the book, is the mind can bring back freedom.
When you clean up your relationships with your family, you get to understand your own personality, fully embracing all of yourself. Make Hawaii great again. Yes, good one, Janet. There's a power there. There's a power there. This is not empty space. It's a frequency field. And when we connect with each other, heart and mind, there's a power. Just like you, when I did the interview with you, Jaco, and you were talking about intuition and you were sending love, that frequency goes out into the field and everything is connected. There's nothing that's not connected to this field. So that is why the power of doing that works, is because everything's connected.
Yeah. And Hawaii is so unbelievably spiritual. I mean, Ho'oponopono, all the unbelievable stuff. I think they just like I think the Peruvians, because I've been to Peru and I've done the Pachamama stuff, and it's like, whoa, you guys are like deep in spirituality here. I think that's hidden in Hawaii, and they had to do that because that's what the Native Americans did. The Native Americans here in America had to hide their religion as well, or not religion, but spiritual practice. And I've been to Native American spiritual practices in the United States, and black helicopters fly around and black sedans come in and watch everybody. I was like, you guys were right. They really do still watch you guys. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I love that you brought up Ho'oponopono. That was in my first book, but that is a really amazing practice. And you guys, let me just give you the story of that. The guy, there was a mental ward here on the Big Island of Hawaii where I live. And this guy, Dr. Lee, I think his name is escaping me right now, but he went in and he didn't see one patient. He did not see one patient. He took their case in their folder, manila folder, and he did Ho'oponopono, which is, he actually said, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And what that means is that I love you because I know that we are one. We are not separate. Thank you so much for showing me. This is really important, for showing me the part of me that's not integrated back in alignment with love.
And you're taking responsibility for everything that's in your consciousness field. And that was so amazing. Oh, it's like just almost brings me to tears thinking about it. Great. Yes.
And what that does, it's not saying that somebody can treat you poorly and get away with it. It's saying, okay, if somebody's treating me poorly, what is inside of me that needs to be integrated back into love, where I can hold my own self-worth and bring relationships into my life that are loving and kind and respectful. So thank you for showing me that I need to work on this. And then you do a practice where you integrate it. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it's still here, that I haven't integrated it so I can experience you as somebody who's whole and complete. I love you. Thank you. So my sister, I have a twin sister, and we've had a very tumultuous relationship. And I've been using that. I've been, okay, what's inside of me that's creating this? And now our relationship, we didn't speak for 3 years, and now it's amazing. It's night and day.
Well done. Yeah, that's very powerful how that works. And that doctor you're talking about, they brought him in because they created a psychiatric ward for like super bad people that had done, multiple killings and all kind of crazy stuff, murderers. And so they're in this ward. And like you're saying, that's all he did. He just looked at pictures and he did Ho'oponopono on them. They all calmed down, and they all went back and they had to close down the ward. They all went back into regular prison.
They all healed. They all healed up. It's that powerful, you guys. That's why every time you turn on the news, it's scary. It's disturbing. You're seeing the worst of people. That's why when you do scrolling, you'll see something really nice, but then the next one will be horrible, and it's because they know this. They know this about us, and we have to know it.
Beautiful, beautiful work. Yeah. So I mean, we're bringing attention to all of this. It is having a positive impact on a lot of people. Your work is really getting number one bookseller for all your books, pretty much. So it is having a positive impact. How many people actually contact you and get involved?
I have a big list. We're actually going to be starting. I'm going to be starting in January after we're doing an event. Okay, this is the other thing too. So I'll just say that first. after the first week of January, I'm going to be starting to take people through doing more citizen memorandums together. So you guys can go to standtogetherhawaii.com, standtogetherhawaii.com, and get on that. It's free. And just put your name in the email list, and I'll be contacting you. We're going to do this together. But what I wanted to say is we're doing a Keep Vaccines Optional event on all the islands. We're bringing in Mickey Willis, Dr. Robert Malone, Jimmy Dore, and Dr. Ryan Cole. And it's a 4-island tour. And the reason is because last year, the Hawaiian governor tried to mandate the entire schedule of vaccines on, thank you, that's standtogetherhawaii.com. He tried to mandate the entire vaccine schedule for all children on all the islands to go to any school. And this bill did not pass. It timed out. It actually timed out. So it didn't not pass, but it just timed out. We think that they're going to try to do that again. So we're doing a Keep Vaccines Optional. And you can actually go to, Jaco, you can go to keepvaccinationsoptional.com or .org, keepvaccinationsoptional.org. And I think that is the, or keepvaccinesoptional.com. Either one of those two will get you there. But that's what we're going to be doing the beginning of January. So super excited to have Mickey Willis come out and share the truth. And that's, again, it takes numbers. We need people there. So you can go to keepvaccinesoptional.com. We'll also get you there. And that'll just share it's about the fact that our governor tried to mandate the full vaccine schedule, no religious exemption, no philosophical exemption, nothing. It's taking away parents' rights. And that's what they're doing on the islands right now. So we're fighting against that.
Yeah, so that's another one of the things that you have to really look for and keep the conversation so it doesn't get taken down on YouTube. But because vaccines is optional, and if you want the vaccination, kind of like what Trump said, you can get the vaccination. But if you do the research, maybe you won't. It's that's one of the things that you have to keep in mind. And there's lots of information out there that's going to lead you to the point where maybe it's not such a great thing. And then of course there's people out there are going to convince you otherwise. So you need to make your own decisions. I know a lot of people, unfortunately, 80%, in my opinion, 80% of people decided to get vaccinated in the last vaccination push, and that hasn't turned out really well. Who's that one actor, Bruce Willis? So Bruce Willis, his second vaccination, basically he got aphasia, which is basically can't speak, he can't understand a lot of stuff. So he got pulled from acting, and I guess they're now sending him. He was they would parade him around, and his former wife and children were like, "Oh, we love him," and it was like, "Ooh," and can't talk. So he's now going to another special home because he's getting worse. So after the second vaccination, so it can cause problems, not always, like everything, can cause problems with the heart, which also causes aphasia, and it can attack the brain. And that's been basically, they've done studies on it, and it does do that. And they've actually admitted it now. So I think we're going to start to see more and more of this admission that was not such a great idea. Some people got it and believe it, and nothing happened to them. So, like I said, you could roll the dice, or you can maybe make great decisions. It's up to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And also there's actually a study that was recently put out that showed that the more vaccines children get, the more prone they are to asthma, cognitive issues, ADHD. That's actually a study. That's also in my book as well, because one of the things around writing this information, I know it has to be sourced really, really well. And because people, it's hard stuff to believe. It's hard stuff to believe. But when I look at it, I also think to myself, I'm like, okay, you have this beautiful baby that was just in its mother's womb, and the cells were dividing for the past 9 months, and there were fingers created and eyelashes and liver cells and all this stuff, and you bring it out, and now it needs help from man. It needs 72 of these agents, and now it needs man's help. Okay, no, I don't. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion. But I just thought that when I look at it, and I'm kind of like, I always look at things a little deeper sometimes. But that was just my personal opinion.
Yes, exactly. And going back to childhood, I remember they made me into a pincushion there for a while, and I got that childhood asthma. But fortunately for me, I outgrew it, which is very strange. But I remember reading about this Olympic athlete that she said she had childhood asthma, probably from vaccinations, maybe, I don't know, but but she was talking about how she would run, and I mean, my cousin had I think he got the same thing, vaccination problem that I did, and he had asthma really bad, and so the two of us, we had to be, I never had to do the inhaler thing, but he did. If he got bad, my dad had asthma, so it was like, vaccines are not something new that's been a problem. And so I started running, like this one Olympic athlete said. She said, you just started pushing it, and I was like, I'm going to do that, and that's what I've been doing my whole life physically. I know you understand, but we can overcome a lot of things, but we have to have the right mindset, and that Ho'oponopono helps, because you're basically, getting in touch with spiritual realms that actually can do miracles, cause miracles. And that's another thing that's fantastic that you put out in your work as well.
Yeah, 100% around that. And that is the power we have, you guys. We have been told people live in scarcity. And it's like, if you breathe, you're taking in oxygen. There's so much oxygen, not one person can breathe all of it. That illusion of scarcity, that is meant to keep us down, because what does that do? It brings in fear. So it's all by design. It's all by design. So I just want to say thank you so much, Jaco, because you're one of the light warriors that has been speaking truth from the beginning. And I know it's taken a toll on you as well, and you just keep going. So mahalo for having me on again and just supporting the work that I do. I really appreciate that. And you and your wife are going to have to come out to Hawaii sometime.
Yeah, there's I think in May I've already won another LifeWave trip to Hawaii, so we'll definitely connect then.
Okay, yeah, let me know which island do you know.
I think it's a big island. I don't know. If it's a big island, that's perfect, but it's probably Oahu. I'll find out more in detail. I think it's just a trip to Hawaii at this point, but we'll find out.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you in person.
Yes, and and you and your wife, Tracy, who I've really been appreciating as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So, Michelle, thanks for your work. People, get your book on Amazon and at your website. Tell us your website again.
Deathoffreedom.com. Deathoffreedom.com. And you can also join my Blossom Inner Wellness is YouTube, Rumble. But Blossom Inner, INNER Wellness.com is my website. That is a free freedom school. That's the one that Jaco showed. There's a free freedom school that shares a lot of information about the IRS and all that stuff, and how my own journey of how I've become sovereign. So yeah, blossominnerwellness.com is that website. So mahalo so much.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Michelle. And look forward to, seeing you in person soon, and then probably some more shows to talk about more of this information. Appreciate it.
All right. Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.